I had over $21,000 of UST invested in Anchor Protocol. Then, after weeks of procrastinating, I finally added another $6,500 of UST into Anchor back on May 8th. 12 hours later, UST started its Depeg. Today, that $27,000 is worth less than $2,000. Luckily, I didn't lose all that money, but I did lose a lot of it. Oh yeah, and on top of that, we just had twin boys, so life has been hectic, but I am glad to be back. In this video, we're going to talk about what was going through my mind during the Depeg event. We're going to look at my total losses and exactly how much I lost. And if you're interested in learning from my failures, we're going to talk through my biggest lessons and reflections from this entire event. Also, stick around to the end because we have a little bit of Bitcoin to give away to some people from the last video. And I'm going to share exactly how much we've generated in YieldNode affiliate revenue so you know exactly how much I plan to share with the community and how you can still get involved in that. It's a lot more money than I realized. If you're new here, my name is Jason and I'm on a mission to generate $5,000 a month in monthly passive income. I had that goal in mind because we had twins on the way who have since arrived, and daycare is a lot. So hopefully we'll be able to generate some passive income to help pay that off and help my family out. And if you get just a little bit of value from this video or you enjoy hearing about my failures, then please go ahead, hit that like button. That way more people can learn from my mistakes. And if you like the way I teach stuff, then hit that subscribe button. And if you want to share any of your story with Anchor and UST, go ahead and drop a comment down below. We're all in this together. If you're on my channel, you probably know what happened with UST and Anchor last week. But just in case you didn't or you want a really good breakdown of it, then you can check out this article from Root2Fi. I will also add a link in the description. They do a really good job of breaking the whole thing down. Probably the best job I've seen of anyone so far. So I treated UST and Anchor like a savings account like many other people in crypto. It had a 20% interest rate and seemed awesome because it was pegged to the US dollar, theoretically. I knew that the rate would come down over time. That's why it was important to try to get some money in as soon as possible because the longer my money was in, the more I could make. I started putting money in a couple months ago, and like I said, I put another $6,500 in just last week. That was on May 8th. Then overnight, I wake up and I start to see some news on Twitter about a Depeg with UST. Now, this isn't the first time that UST has gone through a Depeg. There have been some other times in the past where it lost its value a little bit and one UST was no longer equal to $1. But every time it recovered, so I thought this was going to be more of the same. Now, this Depeg did seem a little bit more severe than in the past, but again, I checked Twitter, I looked at the founder Do Kwon's tweets, and I wasn't that worried. I figured it would recover, and if it didn't recover fully, it would be pretty close. That was my first mistake, because if something like this doesn't recover fully, then it's probably going to drop down to zero, because everyone is invested in UST because they think it's going to be equal to $1. As soon as they lose that faith and that trust, all hell breaks loose. So to recap, I put more money in right around here. Things are okay. The next day, the Depeg starts to happen. And all of May 9th, things drop off, and I'm a little bit worried, paying attention a little bit, but things start to recover on the 10th. And I figure it's only a matter of time. I'm looking at crypto Twitter, and there's a lot of other people that are confident that things are going to recover. And these are people that know crypto better than me, so I'm trying to pay attention to them. And this is where things start to get a little scary. I go to bed on May 10th thinking that we're on our way to recovery. However, I wake up in the middle of the night at 4 a.m. to feed one of my new twins. And when you're feeding a newborn baby, there's not much you can do. So I set it up where I've got one hand free to scroll through my phone, and I check out Twitter, and I see the Depeg is trending. So I head over to CoinGecko, and I see that the price has dropped off a freaking cliff. The Depeg is in full effect to the tune of 30 cents on the dollar. That means if you had $10,000 of UST just a couple of days ago, that's only worth $3,000 today. At this point, the anxiety has set in hard. I've got all sorts of things running through my mind. What have I just done? Our family literally just went from 3 people to 5 people. Should I try to sell it all now before it goes to zero? And I need this kid to chug this bottle so I can get on my computer and try to fix this ASAP. My wife is sitting next to me and she can tell that something's wrong. She was wondering why I was grabbing my computer at 4:30 in the morning. I told her straight out. And to her credit, she tells me it's all going to be okay. Her trust and her support is something that I will never forget and a reason that I will love her forever. I still felt really crappy in that moment, but she made me feel just a little better. So I dive straight into the research. My heart rate is at 100. I've got this giant pit in my stomach. Things are not great. I'm searching Twitter to try to figure out what I should be doing, trying to figure out what everyone else is doing, looking for any little edge or alpha that I can figure out. I'm going between Twitter, I'm going between CoinGecko to constantly look at the price, and I'm also researching how do I get my funds out of Anchor and UST and back over to KuCoin so I can sell if I need to. Once I've triple checked my instructions and all the wallet addresses, I start moving my UST from Anchor and my Terra Station wallet over to KuCoin. And I'm only doing this $5,000 at a time because I don't want to fat finger anything, because it's the middle of the night and I'm nervous, so I'm trying to take my time but hurry up at the same time. Let's take it the 1 minute chart so we can get a sense for what was going on during this time. I finally get all my money over to KuCoin, and the price is right around 47 cents, somewhere in here, I think. So I go ahead and I make my first sale. I want to just make sure these are going through all right and make sure that I can start to sell this stuff off. That goes through no problem. But 10 minutes later, the prices drop down to 40 cents. That's a 15% difference in 10 minutes. So I've just lost 15% more of my money in the blink of an eye. So I sell again. And right now, the price is bouncing all over the place. I'm trying to not desperation sell everything at the bottom, but I'm also trying to walk away with something since this is a meaningful amount of money. Fortunately for me, my toddler wakes up right around this time over here. So I have to step away from the computer and the price starts to bottom out a bit more, but then it also starts to recover. I go back and I check the computer around 8 o'clock and the price has risen above 50 cents. My first thought is, crap, I have just wasted a bunch of money selling too early. I could have gotten a lot more back, but luckily I hadn't sold too much and I was able to sell a bit more at this 53 cents mark. Sell another chunk and then I go to drop my kid off at school. 30 minutes later, I get back from dropping him off and the price is back down to 41 cents. It's like a 25% drop off in 30 minutes. Like, I can't handle this. It is up and down, up and down. It's totally frantic. I'm feeling a little bit better with every sell, but I'm also feeling really bad because every time I make a trade, I know that I'm locking in some really terrible losses. And what if this does recover? What if there's some bailout plan that hasn't been revealed yet and something works out? I'm really at a loss, but all I know is that every time I sell, I do feel a little bit better, feel like I've hedged my bets a little bit. And so I continue to sell in chunks till I've sold about half of my UST, maybe a little bit more than that. And with my anxiety reduced a little bit, I decided that I would try to do a little bit of technical analysis on the 1 minute chart just to see if I thought the price would move up or down at all as the day went on. I tried to time things out a little bit using that technical analysis and some of the studying I've been doing recently. It worked a bit, and I definitely was able to sell at some higher prices and not lose as much money, but I am far from a TIA expert, so please, I'm not giving any advice out on that. And for the record, none of this is financial advice. Do your own research and hopefully do better than me in this situation. And you can see here, it was a pretty high stakes day. The price dropped down to the 30s again, and then it started to climb back up. And eventually, later on that day, we did get into the 60s up here. And I was able to sell off my remaining 25% in that 60s range. When the dust settled, I had lost $14,700. Strangely, it does get a little bit easier to say that, but it hurt a lot. I had lost 54% of my initial investment. I'm going to have to make $25,000 in gross income so that after taxes, I've made up my losses. The good news is that I have a lot of losses to carry forward against future investment income. And this is the point where I tell you, if you want to help out, you can do that by hitting the like button and subscribing. That way, this video is shared to more people, and that means more people will watch the ads that are served against this video, and I'll get a little fraction of that ad revenue deposited into my bank account. And one day, we'll be whole. To put this all in perspective, I still felt very fortunate. I felt really, really bad for most of that day. Things did start feeling a little bit better as the time went on, but it really sucked. It was terrible. And I'm sure a lot of you felt really bad. And I know there are people out there that lost their life savings and really felt much worse than I did. I've lost this much in a day just holding money in the stock market. It doesn't happen all the time, but it's happened before. So for what it's worth, I've been a little bit desensitized to that. And I know that I'm capable of making that $25,000 back. I have a lot of confidence that I'll be able to do that. Saying these things to myself, literally in the shower, saying these things really helped me get through the day. And most importantly is that I know the lessons that I learned throughout this entire event are going to be worth way more than that $25,000. So let's talk about these lessons. I am a very big proponent of never wasting a failure. It's something I say to myself on an almost daily basis. And there were a lot of failures in this. So let's review some of my top lessons. The first is that I didn't listen to the skeptics enough. I knew they were out there. I saw some of their stuff on Twitter. They talked about a black swan event and other things that could happen to really set UST off on a path like this. But I didn't pay close enough attention. And that's really important because one of my other lessons was that I listened too much to the UST maxis. They were really just confirming my bias and what I wanted to hear. And I wasn't honest enough with myself to really take a step back and incorporate both sides of the opinions. I didn't ask myself exactly how could this go wrong and really kind of test those hypotheses. And that's something I definitely should be doing if I'm going to be using any vehicle or any asset as a major place of my investment. And the last thing was that I just didn't move fast enough when the Depeg started. This is an unregulated market, and for better or worse, you can trade 24 hours a day. So you need to be prepared to move fast in just about any scenario. Especially since it was such a large part of my crypto holdings, I should have had exit plans prepared so that I could have just executed when the time came. I should have had this written down. I would have written down exactly how to get out of Anchor Protocol, how to get my money back. I would have had all of that prepared beforehand so that it was really just a matter of going through the steps when the time came, instead of scrambling around trying to search the internet for this stuff at 5 in the morning, which wasn't that difficult. But as they say, separation is in the preparation. And I certainly wasn't prepared for this. So that's it. That's my story about how I lost almost $15,000 investing in UST and Anchor Protocol. We are down, but we are not out. We are still alive, and we are still alive to fight another day. And for that, I am grateful. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm someone that's usually motivated more by failure than wins. So I'm going to use this to learn a lot and to apply all these learnings to my future investments and the future things that I'm doing so that I can not only accomplish my goals, but be proud of my journey along the way. All right, let's talk about the Bitcoin that we have to give away and our affiliate revenue from yield nodes that I'm going to share with the community. On the yield nodes front, for those of you that don't know what it is, it's a project I've talked about before. I'll put a link up here. And I shared my affiliate link with them, the first ever affiliate link I've ever shared, with the promise of giving half that away to the community. And so far, over the last couple of months, we've generated over $2,200 in affiliate revenue. So that means $1,100 so far is going to be given away to the community. We still have to figure out if we want to give it all to one person, if we want to spread it out. So drop a comment below on what you think we should do. And if you want to be considered for that money that we're going to give away from the Yield Nodes affiliate revenue, all you have to do is use the affiliate link that I will put in the description below. You can use mine. Awesome, really cool. If not, no worries, not a big deal at all. Just want to be able to give back to the community in some way. So in the last video, I said we're going to give away $20 worth of Bitcoin, $10 to 2 people. And the only thing you have to do to be eligible for that is to subscribe to the channel and to leave a comment down below as to why you like the channel. We've got everyone's name listed in a random wheel generator. There's only 15 names. I'm a little disappointed, but hey, it's a small channel. We're still growing. So let's go ahead and spin the wheel and see who wins. Gotta love the sound effects. There we go, Yusuf Khan. Winner number 1. I will be sending you $10 for the Bitcoin. All right, number 2. I'm a little excited about this. Love for IXOYE. Congratulations, you're winner number 2. All right, to both you winners, you can either just drop your Bitcoin address down below underneath your own comment, or you can email me at giveaways@jlock.com. And there we can exchange your wallet address privately, and I will send you that Bitcoin. If you guys like these giveaways, let me know in the comments, and we can do more of them in the future. Besides that, I hope you learned something today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. In the meantime, I wish you all happy learning and happy earning. I'll see you soon.